So I finally get to see the discussion between ENTJohnson and INTJoe.
Trust me. You'll find it very interesting. It could teach you a lot. It's very deep, so you'll need to pay close attention. It gets better as it goes on. I'll play it again for you later if you want.
I can't wait to see what they said.
It's important to watch it through to the end. You'll gain much more from seeing the bigger picture. I'll play it now. I know this may be out of the realms in regard to the type of conversations that we usually have, but I would appreciate your input on a very important topic. What are your thoughts regarding the formula for mind control?
Mind control.
Yes.
That's a very broad question. You'll need to be more specific.
Do you think that it's possible to program a human being to consume a false ideology without question, in a way that causes them to blindly and systematically follow that ideology, in order to fit into a group?
Of course. We both know that this is common practice within society.
I want you to give me a workable breakdown of the steps involved in formulating such a program.
I could give you an outline of the fundamental tactics involved in mind control, but to go into depth would take time, and this clearly isn't part of my job description.
So you do understand this topic?
You're touching on the concepts of conformity and obedience. You would get the finer details of this topic by having this conversation with an actual psychologist. And you know it.
I was wondering about your NIT perspective. I've heard that you've read numerous books on how governments control the minds of the masses, and you have a lot of theoretical insight in this area.
Come on. You're a T-Dom. And you also use NI. You understand the principles of training, as well as the systematic installation and enforcement of protocols, directives, and rules of conduct within this organization, as well as the future implications regarding the related outcomes. Wouldn't you say that constitutes a form of understanding of mind control?
Well, yes. But I'm talking about something much deeper than that.
You're asking me questions with obvious answers. You're not someone to waste your time asking questions that you already know the answer to. Unless you have some sort of ulterior motive. What exactly do you have in mind?
Do you think that it's possible to create a typing system that could socially engineer any cognitive type? To be more specific, do you think that you can program someone to think that they are using a cognitive function that they aren't actually using?
Of course.
How?
Well, firstly, you would need to create a typing system that is seen as a useful tool for self-discovery. It must contain some truth. Otherwise it won't attract any interest. Building upon an already well-known typing system that has accreditation would work best.
Good way to encourage trust. Plus the lettering would be easily recognizable.
The system that was created would need to seem like an evolution of its predecessor. It would need to be intricately structured. It must be formulated with the objective of shifting the boundaries of what each cognitive function actually does.
You can't change what a function actually does in reality.
No. But you can change what other people believe. Strategically, it would be essential to redefine the perceived usage of the 8 cognitive functions, so that each function is believed to cover actions that are outside of its true scope of operation.
Extremely crafty.
By overlapping the cognitive definitions to some degree, and assigning 2 opposing usages of the same function, this would significantly expand the assumed scope and coverage of each function.
Pretty complicated.
Exactly. Such a system would create ambiguity and difficulty in a person accurately identifying their own cognitive function usage.
Sounds like this system would make it much harder for someone to type themselves.
Right. The design of the system would take away a person's ability to judge themselves, meaning that followers would be entirely dependent upon being assigned their type by an external observer. The construction of this sort of system would also mitigate the necessity for accurate typing, because followers are not able to judge themselves. They are now forced to accept any type they are told that they are, by the person who is typing them.
But wouldn't the people who adopt this system be able to figure out what we're doing?
The more detailed and complex we make the structure of the system, the harder it will become for anyone to identify the underlying tactics behind its creation. And even if they could, they wouldn't be able to prove it.
You're on the money. This sounds excellent. Sounds like the formula for type domination. We could literally label someone as any type we wanted and there could be no dispute. This system could make us very rich. The promotion and marketing of such a system would capture the interest of many people, and the fact that it would mitigate the necessity for accurate typing is an added bonus.
If I presented myself as creator of the system, I would gain some automatic respect for being an INTJ. After all, we have the label mastermind.
But what about the INTJ? Evil villain stereotype. How would you work around that?
I would significantly alter the definition of extroverted thinking. I would redefine it as not just a thinking function, but a function that caters for other people's needs. This will automatically make me seem more caring of others.
Slick move. That would definitely help to hide your real agenda.
It's basic knowledge that a human mind can behold great intelligence, yet also have the potential to be systemically molded. You are aware of the term garbage in, garbage out, a concept commonly used in the field of computer science. This is also applicable to the human psychological thought process.
There are a lot of people competing for attention in the typology community. How would you stop our followers from losing interest in our system and going elsewhere?
The system would need to be complex enough to require a high degree of time invested in learning it.
This would significantly elevate its perceived value. The greater the investment a person makes in terms of time or money, the more they want to believe that their investment holds a high degree of value. The higher the investment made, the lower the likelihood that they will backpedal.
Exactly. Many will become heavily indoctrinated through the process of trying to fully understand the system's application, which won't be easy for them. Consequently, they will become psychologically attached to their investment.
Will they ever fully understand the system?
You can't fully understand information that doesn't entirely add up. They will accept the system for their own personal reasons, but never fully understand it.
It's like the carrot and the donkey.
Naturally, there are some additional structural components that would need to be interwoven into this system in order to strengthen its psychological hold.
In effect, this system could become a virtual mind trap.
Right. Throw in the allure of social inclusivity and group interactions with like-minded people, and this greatly increases both the attraction and the retention rate of our followers.
It's so manipulative. It's almost evil.
Do you mean evil, as in demon? I can see that you will need some time to think about that one. Naturally, there would still be potential for a person's release from the system's grip.
How?
With open-mindedness, and with the input of the right information, any misguidedness would be entirely reversible. Returning to the teachings of the typing system that we originally chose to adapt would be a good move. Many of our followers would have come from there before finding our system. Reacquainting themselves with the original cognitive definitions would put the power firmly back in their hands.
But they're unlikely to leave, because they won't be able to see through the system.
Right. It would take someone with a high enough level of care, critical thinking and articulateness to blow the whistle and alert the community of our tactical agenda. This person would need to have studied the system extensively, for some time, but not become indoctrinated. This person would also need to be willing to face hatred, ridicule, and rejection from the people within the system, who they are actually trying to help.
That is highly unlikely to happen. A person with the level of intelligence required to decode our system would also know that it would be a thankless task. Surely to try to help would be considered an act of insanity. Why would someone do that for people who they don't even know?
An INFJ might.
It would be an act of kindness, but a strategically foolish move.
Yes. Even if by some chance someone did manage to get a message through, I predict that the majority of followers would not want to listen. Anyway, where are you going with this?
Would you be able to help me to formulate a topology system that could accomplish what we've been discussing?
Do you mean creating a system that can socially engineer any cognitive type, in order to deliberately misguide people about their cognitive function usage, so that you can gain a stranglehold on the topology community?
Yes.
I could. But I won't. In my personal opinion, this is highly unethical.
What if I offered you a considerable sum of money? Let's say $20,000. For starters. I could be negotiated into going higher, depending on the strength of the system that you're capable of producing.
Absolutely not.
Perfect response. You've passed the test. You're a good egg.
I see. This is now making sense. Your actual intention of this conversation was to test my FI? To assess my moral fiber?
Yes. That's right. At TypeTunes, it's our company mission to liberate and empower people through the clear understanding of topology. Not to mislead them. You're new here and I just wanted to make sure that you were really one of the good guys. And you have passed the test with flying colors. INFJane was right to recommend you to be on our team. I'm offering you a permanent contract, if you want it. Your thoughts?
I knew that INTJoe was a good guy.
And ENTJohnson.
I'm seeing him in a new light. You were right. Their discussion ran very deep. And it's definitely worthy of another watch. It was very intuitive. I'll need some time to process what was said. Thank you.
You're welcome.